everybody. My name is Jodi Topitz, and I am the host of We to Me, Divorce Decor, and More. My show specifically addresses adults in transition. So what does that mean? People going through divorce, adjusting to relocation, retirement, loss of a spouse. But what also is great about this show is that I have other professionals come on that complement what I do. Because what this show is meant to do is to give you design and color tips that are going to uplift you in your new space and make you feel comforted and grounded once you've gone through a transition in your home. However, I'm not the only one in town that you should be speaking to. And having said that, I would like to introduce with such great pleasure and happiness my very good friend, Jillian Centanni, who is a super attorney. And Jillian, I just want to hold this up real quick. It's Jack. It's the Jillian A Centanni law firm, and it's her letters are Jack. And I want to say Jack of all trades, but I know that has a negative connotation. Not in your case, because Jillian, I have seen you in action. I've given you referrals. You are the kind of person. All of your different specialties overlap into whatever a person is dealing with. Say it's real estate and it's a divorce. Well, it's very important to know about estate planning. It's very important to know about business law in case maybe the couple owns a business together. This is what I love about you. You're so freaking smart. You're beautiful. You're funny. But what's so important is that it's not like you're diminished in any way. You are empowered. We're going to talk about us having superpowers with all of the knowledge you have. And this is why I like referring you, because you've got the whole package. So I haven't let you say a word edgewise yet. So what I want to say is I wanted to start out by why don't we tell our audience how we first met?
And that is a great
story.
It
is a great story. It is so great.
So, Jodi, I had the pleasure of meeting you at a networking group.
Yes.
And I knew instantaneously that when we met, and I believe we embraced through a hug.
We embraced. I hugged you because you were just so inviting and everything about you.
Right. But I knew that we would be business colleagues and friends for life.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it.
Isn't it weird?
But it's great.
In a good way.
It's great.
It's true.
Yes. And I just knew that by seeing you and how you were dressed, that you were so talented.
Aww.
And I love everything that you've done.
Oh, that is so nice for you to say. Everything from my shoes to my dress to my decorating skills.
Of course.
That is very true. We did have this immediate connection, and it's only gotten stronger. We actually parted that same group, thinking, oh my gosh, out of sight, out of mind. It's been worse in a good way. We're lunch. You're on my show. We're in constant contact. I have referred multiple families to you and let's focus on the real estate, that we're going through a transition.
Yes.
And they were so happy. This was the gift that kept them giving.
Yes.
That they referred you 2 more times. Or am I wrong?
It's been more now. Okay. Quite recently, I believe it's 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
That through that one referral, they have then recommended me, and then those people have recommended me, and it's the gift that keeps on giving.
It really does. And what does that say about you? Especially when you take a chance with someone the first time, but you have that gut feeling it's going to work.
Right.
And then you do it, and then it's fantastic, and all you keep hearing, I'm hearing raves about you, raving. And I even got to experience you in action the other day, which it's good. It's very good. You came to my house with another realtor, and you were making a wonderful connection. Yes. But you were in the middle of a huge problem with this realtor.
Yes.
Not her.
Not
she was, oh my God.
She's amazing.
Kate Sugarman, we love you.
Yes.
No, but there was a huge issue with the buyer and the seller, mostly the seller was a nightmare. And you, my God, you were tenacious. Like you were on the phone. You just didn't stop trying to figure out the problem, make it work. Then you just stepped outside my studio, continued to talk. By the time you got back in, you had resolved the issue.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And luckily, that deal closed last week. So
thank God. Thank
was
God.
great.
That was intense.
Great.
Yeah.
And with all of my transactions, I believe it's a problem-solving process.
Yes.
And it all relates to making sure that you are able to see it through, and regardless of whatever situation it is, continue to persevere.
And the way you overlap. This is what I like about you. So you were able to persevere, but you know so much. You're so smart. In fact, my WTF design tip for today is in honor of you, and it's called Book Smart. Well, you'll see it in about 15 minutes. But it is because you are so book smart, and because you've studied so many different genres of law.
Right.
This is what I love about you. You're not diminished or diluted in your genre of law. You use your real estate to overlap into the estate, to overlap into the business.
Yes.
And that's what makes you fascinating and different.
Thank you so much for those kind words.
It's true.
I really enjoy helping people.
You
so
do.
when
you do.
Either first-time home buyers,
right,
or even people who are more seasoned, regardless of whoever it is, I always look to find a common bond and see what is really important to them, but more importantly, to make the process seamless.
Yes.
And to make sure that a house is a big purchase.
Oh, it's your biggest number that you write down.
It is.
Yeah.
And so you need to make sure that every step of the way, they understand what is happening and what their rights are. And unless it is a huge issue, deals, we really would like to see all deals through. And that is I look at it as a team effort.
That you do, and
yes,
you have a big team using, even just speaking with Kate, the realtor, and me, and just like talking, yes, and just trying to figure everything out. That's what's so great about it, because, for example, either one of those couples could have been going through a life-altering transition.
Yes.
It could have been loss of a spouse. I don't actually know what it was. It could have been a married couple trying to blend households peacefully, yes, which is where I come in the design part of it and making the house feel good. But whatever it is, they have to know that you have their back, so that if they're going through whatever transition it is, they're focused on that. They're not really, they're expecting you to do your job.
Exactly. And
that doesn't always happen, as you and I both know.
Right.
And I've had terrible experiences in with attorneys in different genres. My divorce attorney was a nightmare. And I've had really bad experiences. But when you meet someone like you, you feel like, oh gosh, it's not the end. There are people that truly care about the process. And you really do. And we talked about, you and I talked about a cute theme before the show.
Yes.
Which I love. It's I want to say, when I describe the show, because we do this TV guide, which is very cool, I'm going to say you don't have to wear cuffs to be Wonder Woman, but you do have to have superpowers. Look, cuffs.
I love it.
I know.
I love
you know
it.
I always wear my cuffs.
I love it.
I love it.
Yes.
So we talked about how we met, and I wanted to ask you, because, you know, it's only a half-hour show, and I always like to condense things. And for people that are listening and wanting to just know something, let's focus on real estate, because we don't have enough time.
Right.
You can come back any other time you want and talk about the other genres, the estate planning.
Right.
You know, whichever one the business law is hugely important.
Yes.
But we could talk about real estate only because it just came up, and it makes sense.
Of course.
But, you know, I like to ask people, like, if there are 3 things you wanted to tell someone right now that, let's say, let's do the never bought a home, what are they looking for? First of all, how important is it to have a real estate attorney? How about these people who, like, I'm doing it myself? Call me personally. We have a person across the street from us who's doing all that himself. Meanwhile, no one's looked at the house.
Right.
How important is it to have an attorney? How important is it to have the right realtor, all that? So how do they go about finding someone as fabulous as you? What are they looking for in an attorney?
I think it's important to go to somebody who, as you mentioned before, really cares. But initially, you don't really know that. And unfortunately, a lot of attorneys pass the responsibilities off to their support staff.
Mm-hmm.
I do not do that.
No, I know.
I am the type of person where if you have a problem or something's keeping you up late at night, please call me.
Yeah.
So it's important, and you can glean from an initial conversation with the attorney whether they are there for you or whether you're just a number.
That is very
to
true.
them.
No,
Yes,
I agree with you.
But it is to have an attorney, especially even though it's not required in New Jersey. I think that to navigate through the process, because you have to go through attorney review.
You do.
You have to go through the inspection period.
Exactly.
Then there's title. And then there's coordinating with the lender to make sure that all the pieces are fit together so that you are able to close on time.
Checks are in place.
Exactly.
People that are supposed to sign the checks are there. What if
Exactly.
they don't show up?
Right.
What happens?
And how does a lay person know how to review a title policy?
They don't. It's impossible.
It's impossible. Or negotiate attorney review so that if something happens down the road, you're covered under the contract.
Right, like with your problem. I guess we can't
Exactly.
say what it was, but you were
we can mention.
Can
we? We can mention what
it was.
nightmare.
Oh my
It had
gosh!
to do with one of the two nightmare issues, I believe, with real estate transactions.
What are the top two nightmares?
Septic tanks.
Yes, are not
and
good.
Oil tanks.
Oil tanks.
So those tanks are just problems.
Those can be a problem. Yes, an oil tank could be a slippery slide.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Yes.
And septic could be stinky to work with. It could be really stinky.
It could be. But in both situations, the sellers are in charge of remediating the problem. But as the buyer, you have to uncover the problem through an inspection.
Right.
And then it shifts over to the seller.
How do people don't always know about that
Exactly.
stuff.
And a lot of people don't know that in New Jersey, if you own or you're going to purchase the land, you're responsible for whatever is underneath that
the ground. That is a very interesting concept, and I've heard we have another mutual friend, Scott Leifer.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Scott, who sweeps tanks.
And he's great.
He's great. If
he's
anyone
great.
needs that too,
Yes.
we have if you need anything, we have it. We have all the people.
Yes.
Whether you are in the Princeton area or extend past it, it doesn't matter. The important thing is to find the right people. So you know what's another interesting question?
Yes.
Is what do you think if somebody calls up? You know, like what do you have to do? You either have to call and make an appointment to meet someone like you, or even on the phone. Sometimes just the initial phone conversation can go, not going.
Yes.
What do you think is a really big red flag when someone's looking for someone like you and say they were not smart enough to call Jillian Centanni first, who is in Warren, by the way, and I'll let her give you all her information, and they get on the phone with someone? What would be a real red flag where you should tell that person, please hang up and run like your hair is on fire out of that office?
I believe knowledge is power.
Yes, see?
Obviously,
3 different genres of law,
not only
right?
that, but I'm a chemical engineering background. I also have a master's in business administration.
You're very
cool.
So
knowledge is power.
It
and
is.
When somebody gets on the phone, and I respect everybody, and they pretend they know more about real estate law or anything, it's a little bit of a red flag.
But how would you know? So what's a good question? Like what's a test question for someone who's going to call now and they're going to want to know if that person is genuinely qualified? Is there a question that might stump someone who's an idiot?
Meaning for myself to ask them?
No,
or for them to ask
you to say, oh, I'm hanging up on this attorney. What a dud. Is there something that they would say?
I would always ask, how long on average does it take for you to get through attorney review?
Oh.
And the reason why I would
What's the
ask
right answer to that?
So essentially,
writing notes.
Once the last seller, so if you have a married couple, signs the contract and dates it, that is when the attorney review time frame begins. However, there's a misconception, and most people ask me, Jillian, isn't it only 3 days?
I was just going to say that. It's not.
Well, it depends.
Oh.
We love that phrase. It depends.
It depends.
So what happens is that if nobody responds to the contract, and it's 3 days after the last seller has signed.
Right, what happens?
Then that contract, as it stands, becomes permanent. So, but when an attorney sends out that first letter, usually the buyer's attorney,
Right.
then it stops the clock.
Okay, until they can fix whatever.
Until there's negotiation between the buyer and the
So
seller.
that person asking that question,
Yes.
the potential client of yours,
Yes.
should say, how long does it typically
Right.
take? And if the attorney, let me review, make sure I understand,
Says
to, yeah, no, but if they say, oh, it takes 3 days and they give you nothing else, you should hang up. Because
yes.
they should say what you just said. Yes, technically, but.
Right.
If this happens, but.
Right. So, and I am known for getting
you write it
in and out of attorney review very, very quickly. So what happens is, as soon as my client sends me that executed contract, I give a response in 6 hours.
Yeah, it's done.
And then the other side responds back. And then essentially we can be in and out of attorney review on average a day and a half.
That's phenomenal, because people don't know that. I thought until you said it that it was 3 days no matter what. It is so not true.
It is. And
I had bought 3 houses in my life and still didn't know that.
But Jodi, the more important part is that once that clock stops with the first letter, that attorney review period can go on for weeks.
Yeah, that's not good.
And
so you really have to have that knowledge, cross knowledge. Again, jack of all trades, I love that, isn't a negative thing in this case. It's a positive thing.
Thank you.
No, it isn't.
Thank you.
And I know I wanted to say that because it's just so cute and it's like all there.
Right.
Having said that, we're going to have to stop for a minute.
Okay.
So that guys, stay tuned for my WTF Down and Dirty Design Tips. This is going to be called Book Smart. And we're going to talk about, you're going to get to see how important books are in a space and how they can make you instantly feel like you're home if you're going into a new home. Reflects who you are, tells people, gives them a hint about what your interests are, pops color into the house. It's like putting a pillow in there. It gives you a little pop of color. Other things to bring in your home when you're going through a transition, music that you like, plants, something living. But books, music, and plants would be my 3 tips. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you. Okay, hi everybody. We're back again with my guest, Jillian Centanni, to speak more about real estate law, how to make the process move through fluidly and seamlessly so that I can get in there and make your house happy and comfortable and nourishing through color and design. But without Jillian, I can't get into your house. So she's like the first step. So Jillian, we were talking about our superpower tips. I love the advice that you just gave about asking the right question to the attorney and making sure that they don't just give you a one-liner, yeah, attorney review, 3 days, we're done. That is so not true. Is there another thing that might be misleading that someone might not be aware about? They call an attorney and they would say, like maybe hidden charge. Are there hidden charges? You're very transparent.
Yes.
I love that about you. You're just like clear, like lucite.
Yes. I always,
not everybody is.
And it's so important that, especially as an attorney, that you are transparent. In terms of hidden charges, most people don't know that the title search is another charge.
And do you say that to them when they call you? When
absolutely.
They say, hey, Jillian, I have no idea, how much it's going to cost?
Exactly.
You say, I'm this, title search is separate.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I also say that at the end of the transaction, a settlement agent comes in and essentially disperses the funds to the seller as well as to the attorney. And essentially, that is also another charge that
And do you give them that price too?
I do.
So there's no surprises with you. They know how much you charge.
Right.
They know how much all the additional charges
exactly.
are. Inspectors.
That's right.
What else? Inspectors.
And many people think that with inspections, oh, the home inspector can just come in and that's it. Well, if the home inspector's report reveals that additional inspections need to be made, then those are all
Again, additional costs.
Yes.
But that's a sign of a good home inspector.
Yes.
I had a home inspector with my studio that you've been to.
Yes.
And he missed some real big stuff, and it was a real problem for me once I moved in. There were things that didn't work. I thought he checked. You know, some were as small as the dishwasher didn't work too. They illegally enclosed an area down in my basement, which is my big office.
Beautiful, and it's beautiful space.
Thank you. But you saw that was illegally done. I would not be able to remove my hot water heater, but I came up with a clever plan how to. Yes. But the point is, you have to be careful of those people. And the realtor that recommended mine, he was really, there was something wrong with him. Seriously, I think he was not well. He just wasn't into, like, there was a problem. And I don't want to get that. If my attorney is saying, well, this is the person you use for this and that, I'm expecting to trust.
Right, and it's important that attorneys work with the realtors.
Yeah.
And I believe, as I said before, we're all on a team.
You are.
And it's not just, and it's
we
not just the buyers being on a team, but collaboratively with the sellers as well.
Yeah.
Because if there's resistance from the sellers, it makes the transaction so much harder.
Yeah, it is really
unnecessarily.
Unnecessary. Like again, like that problem that you were dealing with when you came over to my studio with the realtor, and it was just it just was not. It was ridiculous.
It was.
Things were not correlating. Things were not making sense. One report was not correlating with another.
Right.
But what was cool about you is the technical part, Miss Chemical Engineer over here. You caught it. I'm like, how did she know that? How did she figure that out?
And I have to say, so I do not accept credit unless it is due to me.
Well, you deserve that one.
But the town, I believe it was the environmental part of the township.
Yes.
The representative there, who shall remain nameless, but he was fantastic in explaining what was wrong.
He was. You did mention that, and that was
great.
Good. I really got to witness the whole nightmare unfold and then get resolved, which was kind of a unique situation.
It was a unique situation, but the thing is, there are unique situations that pop up, especially in real estate transactions, and people need to have the confidence in who their trusted advocate is to know that I can solve almost any problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
And well, that's really very true. And I wanted to ask you too. I guess I kind of know the answer, but you don't. Do you have a particular favorite genre of law, or is it just like, do you love them equally, like your children? Like, are they like triplets?
They are my children.
You don't really favor one child over the other, where the kid gets so messed up he needs therapy for 30 years? Kind of like in my case with my family. No, you love all three children.
I do
equally.
I do, but
nobody feels left out.
I look to make every experience with clients enjoyable.
Yes.
And I understand, because I do have a lot of clients who have recently gone through transition. And not just divorce, but people who are relocating, people who have been separated in relationships. And so when they think of an attorney, they kind of don't wish to see an attorney.
Right, they've had a bad experience.
I look to make everything smooth sailing. Very smooth and seamless. I mean, we're always at the end of, especially closings, we're doing high fives. We're having a good time.
This is what it's all about. Is creating a relationship like you and I have together. I think if people are listening, I think in general what you want to have is a healthy relationship between the professionals that are working on whatever it is they're working with. You know, when you work with me, it is. I mean, I say the healing power of color, design, and laughter, because it is a laugh a minute.
Yes.
And people may come and meet me, cry and snot all over me.
Right.
And then we move on. Right. And we make a beautiful space at home again.
Yes.
And we deal with all of that.
Exactly.
But you want all of the team to be lovely and friendly and competent. right?
Right.
It's hugely
Right, 'cause
important.
it doesn't. I've done a lot of litigating throughout my career,
Yeah.
and it doesn't need to be like that.
It doesn't.
It can be fun,
It can.
professional,
Yeah.
and you can be represented to the full force of the law, but it can also be fun.
And that's what we want in life. You know what? Life is too short to have any more aggravation or stress
Of course.
thrust upon us when we're going through something stressful as it may be. It could be like I said, even a happy occasion, like where I'll help, as you know, I'll help newly married couples
Yes.
blend households. I have a new couple now. They were, I said, I thought they're going to go from we to me any minute because there was so much tension, one like this, one
Right.
like that. And to be able to make everyone happy,
Right.
give somebody a little
Right.
something, this one likes this color, this one doesn't, this is where
Exactly.
the furniture should go. All of a sudden it's easy. It's great.
Right. Right.
So it really it works. Before we end our fabulous show, I want to give you an opportunity to just speak into the camera and tell everybody how to find you, your website, your phone number,
Okay.
please, so they
Okay.
can find you.
I can be found in Watchung, New Jersey at 775 Mountain Boulevard, Suite 103. And my website is www.jacentannilaw.com.
Perfect.
Thank you.
That's perfect. So this way, when you guys are looking around, you can come refer back to the show and you can get the information. And if for some reason you didn't get it, you know you can contact me. So we2me.com, W-E, the number 2-M-E.com, Jodi Topitz. You can call me if you can't find Jillian. I will connect you, I promise. So having said that, I think we got some really good tips when calling an attorney, what to ask a question.
Yes.
And if they don't give you that answer, if it's a short, sweet answer, like everything is short and sweet, then
Right.
that's a problem.
Right.
I think because everything is very individual and customized.
Yes.
And with me, after you've reviewed the Booksmart WTF design tip, I'm going to add to that again, just to review, is that not just bringing books into your house gives people an insight into who you are and what your interests are, but bringing in living things, plants are important, or music that might address the mood that you're in.
Yes.
In your space. You may want something mellow, something upbeat, because maybe you want to exercise in your house, or maybe you want something really low-key in your bedroom, something romantic. It could be anything. But think about those three things. Think about the three things we talked about. And remember, you don't have to wear cuffs to be Wonder Woman, but you do have to have superpowers, and we do. Say goodbye, Jillian.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you, Jodi.
It was my pleasure. Goodbye, everybody. See you, see you next week, and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.